Join for the session 3 of today's FDP program. We have our speaker, Dr. B. Krishna sir. Sir, are you there, sir?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Please. Yeah.
I request all the participants to join with the Google Meet. We have a speaker, Dr. B. Krishna sir. Sir has finished his PhD from Usmania University. He is presently working in Vagdevi Engineering College. He has 12 plus years of teaching experience. He has published 3 patents, 2 books, 1 book chapter, 10 journals, and he has published conferences in 6 international conferences. His research interests are web mining, data mining, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things. Today, Sir will deliver a session on Python for supervised and unsupervised learning. Sir, please take over the session.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much for introducing me.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for introducing me. Thank you very much. Give me 1 minute of time. I can share the screen. Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir, your voice is clear.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, madam.
So your screen is also visible, sir.
Okay, madam. Thank you. Thank you very much. Participants quickly will see what is supervised learning, what is unsupervised learning. After that, we'll do hands-on session. Okay. So 5 to 10 minutes it takes. After that, we'll move into hands-on. Wait a minute. Madam, is it visible my screen, please? Madam, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, madam. So, participants, today in this session, we are going to see what is supervised, what is unsupervised, and also we'll do some hands-on experiments with respect to supervised learning as well as unsupervised learning. Okay. So, first of all, what is supervised learning? Why it is called supervised learning? Why do we need supervised learning? First of all, we'll discuss all these 3 points and then we'll move further. Okay. So here supervised learning is a subcategory of machine learning and artificial intelligence, we can say, and it is defined by its use of labeled data sets to train algorithms that to classify data or predict outcomes accurately. Okay, this is a supervised learning definition everyone can say. Okay, why it is called supervised learning? That is very, very important. Okay, it is called supervised learning. Why? Because the process of an algorithm learning from the training data set that can be thought of as it's kind of a teacher and student learning process. Okay, that is why we can call it as a supervised learning. Okay, so once again I'm repeating, it is called supervised learning because the process of an algorithm learning from the training data set that can be thought of as a teacher supervising the learning process. Okay, we know the correct answers as a teacher, but the algorithm accurately makes predictions on the training data and is corrected by the teacher. Same scenario here also following in case of supervised learning. Okay, and third question: why do we need supervised learning? So, of course, supervised learning allows collecting data and produces data output from the previous experiences, and it helps to optimize performance criteria with the help of experience. And supervised machine learning helps to solve various types of real world computation problems actually. Okay, so this is why we are going to learn supervised learning. Okay, next, here we have types of supervised learning algorithms. Okay, so supervised learning can be divided into two categories already, that is regression as well as classification. These two concepts comes under supervised learning. What is regression actually? Regression, so many algorithms are there for regression. So these algorithms are used if there is a relationship between the input variable and the output variable, and it is used for prediction of continuous variables such as weather forecasting, market trends, and so many key areas are there for regression. Okay, here we have some algorithms, that is different case, so we'll discuss. Okay, after that we'll go for classification. Uh, Here some algorithms are there. These are all different algorithms for regression. That is simple linear regression, multiple linear regression, polynomial regression, and support vector regression, decision tree regression, and finally random forest regression. Okay, so these are all some algorithms related to regression. Okay, just I'm discussing what is there in supervised and what is there in unsupervised. Just I'm giving brief introduction about these things. I'm not going much deeper about this. Okay, yeah. So while coming to classification, what is classification actually? Here, supervised learning algorithms, two types already I discussed, right? Regression, classification. Okay. Here, classification already we discussed what is regression. So when coming to classification, and the classification algorithms are used when the output variable is categorical, then which means there are two classes such as yes or no, true or false, or male or female. Okay, if it comes under only two categories, then we can call it as a binary classification. If it is having more than two classes, then we can say that is a multiple multivariate classification we can call it. Okay, so here these two are different approaches for supervised learning. We will see what are the algorithms are available for classification. Okay, uh, these are all classification algorithms actually. Okay, random forest classification, decision tree classification, logistic regression, support vector machine, and k nearest neighbor classification. Okay, these all algorithms comes under classification. Okay, yeah. So this is about supervised learning actually. So many advantages are there, disadvantages are there with supervised learning. We'll see once again. Yeah, these are advantages of supervised learning. Okay, so three advantages are there, and like that we have disadvantages also or unsupervised learning. We'll discuss. Okay, so first advantage is with the help of supervised learning, the model can predict the output on the basis of prior experiences. And second advantage here, you see, just read it, those things, you will get the what are the advantages are there in supervised learning. Okay, in supervised learning, we can have an exact idea about the classes of objects, and supervised learning model helps us to solve various real world problems. Already I told earlier, such as fraud detection, spam filtering. So many algorithms are there. Okay, uh, so many problems we can solve actually using supervised learning. Okay, so just see the disadvantages are also there. These are all disadvantages actually. Supervised learning models are not suitable for handling the complex task. Okay, for that purpose we will use unsupervised, that is different case we'll discuss. Okay, and supervised learning cannot predict the correct output if the test data is different from the training data set. Okay, just I'm repeating this point. Supervised learning cannot predict the correct output if the test data is different from the training data set. Okay, yeah. So third disadvantage is in supervised learning we need to have enough knowledge about the classes of objects. Okay, so these three are disadvantages, that is supervised learning disadvantages. Okay, So next we'll discuss what is unsupervised learning, and then we'll start hands-on session. Okay. Uh, yeah, what is unsupervised learning actually? Okay. So as the name suggests, unsupervised learning is a machine learning technique in which models are not supervised using training data set. Instead, models itself find the hidden patterns and insights from the given data. So it can be compared to learning which takes place in the human brain while learning new things. Okay, it can be again simply we can say it is a unsupervised learning is a type of machine learning in which models are trained using unlabeled data set and are allowed to act on that data without any supervision. There is no supervision here. Okay, so again we are using unlabeled data here. Okay, and unsupervised learning cannot be directly applied to a regression or classification problem because unlike supervised learning, we have the input data but no corresponding output data. So here the goal of unsupervised learning is to find the underlying structure of data set, group the data according to the similarities, and it represents the data set in a compressed format. Okay. So main focus of unsupervised learning is group the data according to the similarities and represent the data set in a compressed format. Here, one example is there, you see. Yeah, just see this example. Okay. Here we have suppose the unsupervised learning algorithm is given an input data set containing images of different types of cats and dogs. Just see here in the screen. The algorithm is never trained upon the given data set, which means it does not have any idea about the features of the data set. Okay, the task of the unsupervised learning algorithm is to identify the image features on their own. Okay, here the main task of the unsupervised learning algorithm is to identify the image features on their own. So your unsupervised learning algorithm will perform the task by clustering the image data set into the groups according to the similarities between images. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, just why we use unsupervised learning? Again, question. Earlier we seen why we use supervised learning. Yeah, now why we use unsupervised learning? So here, due to some main reasons which describes the importance of unsupervised learning here. Yeah, unsupervised learning is helpful for finding useful insights from the data, and unsupervised learning is much similar as human learns to think by their own experiences, which makes it closer to the closer to the real artificial intelligence actually. Okay. Yeah, unsupervised learning works on unlabeled and uncategorized data, which make unsupervised learning more important. Those are all reasons to use unsupervised learning. Already I discussed in real world, we do not always have input data with the corresponding output. So to solve such cases, we need unsupervised learning. Okay, is it clear? Yeah, you see this example, how it is converted into yeah, output. Just you see this slide, you can understand the better way. Okay, so here you see input raw data is there, unlabeled data we given. Okay, is it clear? Yeah, just see the slide. Yeah, here we have taken an unlabeled input data, and which means it is not categorized, and corresponding outputs are also not given. Now this unlabeled input data is fed to the machine learning model in order to train it. Okay. Firstly, it will interpret the raw data to find the hidden patterns from the data, and then we'll apply suitable algorithms, such as so many algorithms are there for unsupervised learning. You can use any one of those algorithms, that is k-means clustering, decision tree, or random forest. Yeah, so many algorithms are there, right? So you can use those algorithms. Okay, then once it applies the suitable algorithm, the algorithm divides the data objects into groups according to the similarities and difference between the objects. Okay, so that is why we are getting output here. Yeah, raw data is given, algorithm will interpret the entire data set, which is we given raw data as well as unlabeled data, but we predicted output. Yeah, your output is, yeah, categorized data it comes. Okay, dogs separate cluster is there, cat separate cluster is there. Okay, so this is about this is working of unsupervised learning. Actually, in this way unsupervised learning will work. Okay, yeah, of course unsupervised learning also divided into two categories. Okay, one is clustering and other one is association. Already you know what is clustering. Clustering is a method of grouping the objects into clusters such that objects with the most similarities remains into the group, and as less or no similarities with the objects of another group. Okay, similarities and unsimilarities also are also there, right? So less similarities, more similarities, like that you can analyze. Okay, so more similarities are there means that is comes under one cluster. Less similarities are there means that comes on another cluster, like that. Okay, so cluster analysis finds the commonalities between the data objects and categorize them as per the presence and absence of those commonalities, as per those commonalities. Okay, so this is about clustering. Of course, we have clustering algorithms. We'll see. And what about association actually? So association rule is an also unsupervised learning method, which is used for finding the relationship between variables in the large database, and it determines the set of items that occurs together in the data set. Okay, here association rule makes the marketing strategy more effective. Okay, so main purpose of association is marketing strategy, especially association will use for business applications. Okay, such as we know already, people who buy X item, that X item may be bread, and also tend to purchase Y item, that is Y item may be butter or jam. Okay, if a person buys bread and also purchase that butter or jam. Okay, so in this similar fashion association will work. Okay, the typical example of association rule is main mostly we are using that rule, that is market basket analysis. This is an example for association. Okay, yeah. Okay, so here unsupervised learning algorithms, clustering algorithms are there, association algorithms are also there. These two comes under unsupervised learning. So many algorithms are there. Among that, I listed a few algorithms here. K means clustering, hierarchical clustering. These two comes under clustering, and a priori and eclat will comes under association algorithms. Okay. So earlier we discussed the advantages as well as disadvantages with the supervised learning. Here also we have advantages of unsupervised learning, and disadvantages are also there for unsupervised learning. We'll discuss. Okay. Yeah. Unsupervised learning is used for more complex tasks, as we discussed, as compared to supervised learning, because in supervised learning we don't have labeled input data. Okay, and unsupervised learning preferable as it is, as it easy to get unlabeled data in comparison to labeled data. Okay, these two are advantages over supervised learning, and these two are disadvantages of unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning is a more difficult than supervised learning, as it does not have corresponding output. Already we've seen, right? Advantage becomes disadvantage. Same thing it is happening here also. Okay, the result of the unsupervised learning algorithm might be less accurate, as input data is not labeled, because input data is not labeled. So that is why, yeah, here maybe some accuracy somewhat decreased here. Okay, and that algorithm do not know the exact output in advance. So that is why this is also one of the disadvantages. Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. So this is about what is supervised, what is unsupervised we discussed what kind of algorithms are there for supervised learning, what kind of algorithms there for unsupervised learning. We discussed. Okay. Yeah. Now we will move into hands-on session. Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah. I'm using Google Colab for hands-on session because no need to install any software. Okay, we can directly use Google Colab services to execute our machine learning programs. Okay, yeah. Everyone, you can practice with me if possible. Okay, because this is a hands-on session. Okay, yeah. Just type Google Colab in Google, then you'll get one link. Collab.research.google.com. Okay. Yeah. Here I'm opening this one. This is the environment actually. This requires a login credentials, that is Gmail credentials you have to give. Already I logged in, that is why it is not asking any Gmail credentials. Okay. So if the users are first time they're using Google Colab means it is easy to learn, easy to execute the machine learning programs. Okay. So here I'm taking new notebook. Okay. Yeah. Here you see. New notebook. Yeah. This is the environment of Google Colab actually. Okay. So in this one, you can execute any number of programs related to Python. Okay. So this is excellent environment for executing machine learning programs actually. So every cell here, this is a code cell actually. In this code cell, you can write Python code. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yes. So if you want to take another code cell, you can take here. This is one code cell and this is another code cell. Okay. Just I'm writing first one message in Google Colab. That is I'm printing one message. So if you want print something, print method is there. Yeah. Okay. This one I am writing some, you can use single quotes or double quotes, not a problem. Welcome to, yeah, welcome to Atal FDP program. Yeah. Welcome to Atal FDP. Welcome to Atal FDP. Just I'm writing. Okay. So how you can execute this statement means here run cell button is there. Okay. This is run cell. After writing the code here, just press here. Okay. Automatically. First time it takes a couple of seconds. After that it executes immediately. Okay. This time it is taking a couple of seconds. Okay. Yeah. It is executing. Welcome, sorry, welcome. Yeah, welcome to Atal. Second time I'm running, just see here how much, yeah, quickly it will execute. Okay, welcome to Atal FDP. So if you want writing something, another one, here you can write. Otherwise, you can write here also A equal to 10, some B equal to 20, like that. So if you want to add something, yeah, C equal to A plus B, you can add. Simple program until after that you'll see. Okay. Yeah. Print C. Print C. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here we are getting. Okay. So now our task is not to explore basics of Python. Actually, okay. Here we have to execute some supervised learning programs as well as unsupervised learning. Okay. So for that, I'm taking. Okay, this is about new code cell. If you want remove, you can remove here. Yeah, delete cell. Okay, like that you can add or delete. Everything is possible here. Okay, so now we will see how to execute supervised learning program. Okay. So now I'm opening, I'm deleting this one also. I'm creating one more code cell. This is fresh code cell. Okay. Yeah. So here I'm taking one statement. We are importing some package. How you can import packages using import keyword. Okay. Import numpy as np. Okay. So NumPy is a package. Okay, we need to import for this environment. Just execute here. Yeah. If you don't have any error, here right mark will come. Otherwise, it, for example, here I missed some character here. What happens? You see. Yeah, I'm executing this one. Yeah, here it itself it shows the error, invalid syntax like that. It will show here. Okay. Yeah, okay. Here IntelliSense is also there. If you type something, here you see IMPO I given. Okay. Just to see here, import came, right? So if you type some words, automatically it gives some suggestion. This is called IntelliSense. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm executing this one. So like that, I'm importing some packages. Here our task is we will take one startup's data set. So from that data sets, we can analyze the things. Okay. What we can analyze, all these things we discuss. Here I'm opening some data set here. We can take any data set, not a problem. Here I'm opening. Here you see, yeah, startups are all there. Yeah, R&D spent, administration expenditure, marketing spend, as well as state and profit is also there. Okay, just to see this data set, it contains 5 columns: R&D spend, administration. Um, Here, R&D spend is there, administration is there, marketing spend is also there, and state column is there, profit is also there. Actually, this is a labeled data we are giving. So now we are seeing supervised learning example. Okay. As a part of this, I taken one data set. Okay, that is startups companies details. So this is one startup. Okay. So for this spend, profit is like this. Okay. So now we need to read this data to our Colab environment. This is actually CSV file. Okay. So how you can import? Okay, how you can import is an important to Google Colab environment. Okay. Yeah. Okay, here you see how you can import. This is actually online environment. Okay, this is software as a service that they are giving. Google is giving for services. So how you can import or import here, how you can export data set to runtime environment. Okay, so here just click, see here this icon is there, right? So folder icon is there, just click here, and here export upload to session storage icon is there, just click here. Okay, and here you can select data set. Okay, 50 startups data set is there. So here our data set is upload to runtime environment. Are you able to see this one? Okay, 50 underscore startups. This is CSV file actually. Okay, fine. Okay, now you see here I'm importing what kind of data we are analyzing. You see one by one, not a problem. Okay, now I imported NumPy package like that. I'm also importing pandas. Okay, pandas as PD. So here pandas is a package or library, and PD is an object. We are creating object for that particular library. Okay, and also I'm importing matplotlib. If required, we can use. Otherwise, no problem. Okay, matplotlib. Here IntelliSense, by using IntelliSense, we are getting yeah, suggestions. Matplotlib. Okay, so among that we will take a pyplot. Pyplot is also there. Okay, pyplot as we are creating object as PLT. PLT. Okay. So these are all three packages we are importing. Just executing here. You see. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So there is no errors while importing the packages, right? Okay. Fine. Next, I'm taking another code cell. So this code you can write in single code cell also, not a problem. For clarity purpose, I'm taking another code cell. Okay. In this code cell, what I'm doing is, okay. So I'm taking pandas object PD dot. We are reading CSV file actually. Here read CSV function is there. By using this PD object, we can read underscore CSV function is there. By using this function, automatically we read CSV file content here. Okay, you can read not only CSV, Excel file, different formats are also there. Okay, JSON, HTML, whatever you want, you can. Excel file also you can read. Okay, so our file is in CSV mode. That is why I'm using read underscore CSV. Okay, yeah, read underscore CSV. Okay. So in this one, what I have to do in this one, we need to give file name. Okay. And what is the file name? 50 underscore startups. Startups. Okay. Dot CSV. File name is extension is CSV. Okay. So after retrieving the data from the 50 startups .csv file, here we need to store the data into a variable, right? So what is that variable? Here you can give any variable name. Yeah, here I'm giving df is a variable name. So entire content will come here in the variable df. Okay. So just execute here. Yeah, no error. Already retrieved data from the startups.csv file to your runtime environment. So yeah, whatever the data available in this file, now it is available in DF. If you want to see the what is the content is there in DF, then just use DF, or you can use print DF. Not a problem. Okay, I given just DF. Just okay. This is the data we are getting. Okay, pd underscore pd dot read underscore csv. By using this statement, we downloaded all records. Yeah, we got all records here. How many records are there? 0 to 50 records are there. 50 records there. Okay, 0 to 40. Clear? Yeah, I'm taking another code cell here. Yes. Now what I'm doing here is, okay, using this one, actually just analyze the data. We have different spends as well as state. Okay, based on this, we are getting profit here. Okay, this is the data. So based on this data, we after training the model, after giving the data to a model, so after that, after completion of training, we have to predict the result. Actually, how we can predict, we will see one by one. Okay, so your next task is, what I'm doing is, here I'm taking one variable x, and here I'm taking all columns values by using ILOC. LOC is also there. ILOC function is also there. Okay, from this, what I'm doing is, I'm taking all columns data. How you can take all columns data? Left side, right side, you can have rows and columns actually. But if you are not giving anything, means all columns will come. Okay. So if you give here -1, means except the last column, every column will come here. Okay. So all values we want except the last column. -1 means this is a negative indexing. So your Python advantage, we have positive index as well as negative index. Okay, positive index starts from 0, whereas negative index starts from -1. -1 indicates last value. Last value means in this data set, we have last column is profit. Okay, except this profit column, we are taking all columns: R&D spend, administration, marketing spend, as well as state. Okay. Yeah, this is the meaning of I location colon minus 1. Okay, yeah, just executing here. Yeah. Oh, there is no. If you want to see the data, whatever the content available in X means, just put X or print, you can write print X, you will get that. Okay, this is the data we are getting. Just see here, first column, second column, third column, and fourth column. There is no fifth column because we excluded it. Okay, minus 1 means negative index, so we are not using that last column. Okay, yeah, fine. Here I am taking another code cell. Okay, now you see. Yes. So in X variable, I've taken all columns except last column. Now I'm taking Y variable. Y equal to df dot, again I'm using ILOC. Okay, ILOC uses only index values. LOC you can give names also, that is different case. LOC, that is the difference between LOC and ILOC. Okay. Yeah. Here, if I want to take only last column, colon minus 1. Here, if you use colon minus 1 means all columns will come. Colon comma minus 1 means only last column will come. Okay, the values. Okay, last column will come. Execute here. I'm running the code cell. Yeah, here some syntax is there. What is that error? Yeah. Okay. I use the parentheses instead of square brackets. Okay. Yeah. Row C of colon minus 1. Yes. Wait a minute. Just I'm checking. Yeah, I'm executing this one. ILOC. Okay. Right? Yes. So if you want to see the data, just use Y. What is the data you'll get? Only profit column data will come. Okay? Profit column data is here. So in X variable we have all columns except last column. In Y variable we have last column data, that is profit. Okay? Okay. Fine. Now we need to do some column transformation because in X data you see here. So if you want predict something, data should be transformed into numerical data. Here categorical data is there. New York, California, Florida, all there, right? This is city, city or state column. In state column we have categorical data, except all remaining columns are only numerical data, but this fourth column, that is state column, contains categorical data. How you can convert this categorical data into numerical data? That is a question mark. Okay. How you can convert? Yeah. You see. So first of all, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm taking code cell, new code cell. Wait a minute. Here I need to take code cell. Yeah. Okay. So here by using sklearn package, of course we can do column transformer. Okay, and also we can do encoding. Okay, how we can transform columns, categorical column into numerical column, and how we can convert those numerical categorical data into numerical data. We'll see. Okay, here I'm using sklearn package. Learn dot here you can give also see intelligence whatever the yeah, here compose is there, right? You see here compose, just use compose. Okay, you have to compose we have to compose that column. We need to transfer that column into numerical data. Okay, compose, and from this we need to import. Okay, um, column transformer is there. Okay, so column transformer class is there. Okay, package actually column transformer. If you want, you can use IntelliSense. Single L, that is why we are not getting IntelliSense. Yeah, column, just see here, IntelliSense. So if you want to see IntelliSense, control space is there, then you can get column transformer. Yeah, so from this you taken column transformer, and also you take from sklearn dot preprocessing. You can take one or encoder, that is also there. sklearn dot pre-processing is there. Okay, just see here, pre-processing. Okay, so from this we are importing one heart encoder. One heart encoder is there. Just import that library. Okay, so just execute here. Yeah. Okay. So we imported these two packages, and again I am taking another code cell for clarity purpose. I am taking different code cells. Okay, yeah. Next, here I'm taking one variable ct equal to column transformer. Okay, so here what I'm doing is column transformer is there, right? So column transformer of, okay. In this one, I'm taking one variable transformers. Okay. Transformers equal to. So here I'm taking encoder. For encoding purpose, I'm taking one hot encoder. How we can encode, we'll see. By using these packages, we can encode. Okay. Encoder is there. Encoder. One hot encoder is. So just observe here the third column here. That is why I'm taking 3. Fourth column actually index starts from 0. That is why I taken 3. Okay. So after that, here you can use remainder if you want. You can use, otherwise not required actually. Okay. Remainder. Remainder. Remainder equal to past. Okay. You can use this one. Otherwise you can simply ignore. Past. Just use some value past. Not required actually this one. Okay. Yeah. Just execute here. Yeah. No. So we just see here column transform. What it is doing means fourth column, that is given 3 number means fourth column. We are encoding that column. Okay. So that is state column. How we can encode, you'll see. Okay. I'm taking another code cell. Okay. So here x equal to np dot array. I'm doing here is, so I'm converting that one into array. Okay. ct dot, so your function is there, some fit transform is there, we are fitting the model. Okay, ct dot fit transform. Okay, so what we need to fit actually, okay, yeah. Okay, so here we need to give x data. What is this x actually? Just see here. Just if you want to see the data, x. 197 stored columns are there. Okay, in compared to parts. Okay, you see. wait a minute. NP dot array ct dot fit underscore transform of x. Okay, fine. So if you want to see, just to see x, okay, print x. If you want to see print or x in the problem. Column total index out of range. Okay. So actually total index is not in. So it is not printing. Column cell. Please wait here. Tuple index is out of range. CT column transformer is equal to encoder. Not encoder is there. Okay. Equal to pass. Wait a minute. CT underscore transform. Please wait. Transform is there. X. Would we include a correct one not encoder is there, column transformer is there. Okay. Wait a minute. Directly we can import. Possible. Notebooks, we have interactive Python notebooks also. Just check. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, please. I'm importing the data set once again. I'm uploading data set here. Wait a minute. Okay. So this is already we see. So wait a minute. So here you see x equal to np dot array ct dot fit transform is there. What happened here? You see just a print of x. Okay. So I used earlier. What happened is same variables are given x. Okay. Yeah. So here small x, if you give here capital X, that is missed actually. Print X, you see here. So what happens? This is actually X data, Y data we are seeing. Yeah. This is market is spend. Some spends are there, right? So fourth column is state column. State column is divided here three categories. 0, 0, 1 means here I'm opening the data set also. Right? Then you can easily understand. Yes, here you see. So this is R&D spend, administrative spend, marketing spend, and the state spend. Okay. So this is we excluded this column for X variable, and for Y we taken profit. Okay. So here you see state column. So how many unique values are there in the state? How many unique values are there? 3 unique values are there. That is New York, California, and Florida. Okay. How we can uh, convert this categorical data into numerical data means we used one-hot encoder, right? Yeah. So that is what we did here by using column transformer. Column transform completed here. So after that, we encoded that data. Okay, 001 means we are taken, yeah, first column value is California, right? So New York is taking uh, sorry, if it is available, then it is taking 1. If it is not available, it is taking 0. Okay, 3 unique values are there, right? So California, so first New York is there, Florida is there, California is. In this way, we taken actually. Okay. So first case, Florida is not there, New York is not there, California is there, right? So that is where we put 1 here. Okay. In next case, you see 1 is there, and second row you see 1 is there. 0 means this comes under, yeah, California. Okay, California is there, right? First option is California, so that is where I taken 1. Remaining are all 0. Florida. What about Florida? Florida is second option. Okay, so you see, yeah. So Florida is second option, right? So in second case it is 1. Remaining cases are 0. Okay. In this way, we transform that column into a numerical way. Okay, that is the numerical data here available. There is no categorical data. Now it is possible to take model and it can predict the results. Okay, because all numbers are there, numerical data is only there. Okay, that is where we can predict now. Okay, yeah. Now you see. Uh, so we are splitting this data. 150 startups company data is there, right? So from that we are splitting the data set into the training data set and the test data set. Okay. So what I am doing here is from sklearn dot model selection, we are importing train test split. Okay, this is very important. We need to split the data into training as well as testing. Okay. Here we are storing the data in these 4 variables: X train, Y train, and X test, Y test is there. Okay. So how we are splitting the data is very important. We are training data and test data is splitted here. X means all columns data except last column. Y means only last column data. Okay. From this test size, how much data is giving for testing means 0.2. 0.2 means 20% of data is for test data. So what about remaining 80% for training data? That's the meaning. If you give 0.3 here, what happens? Test data is 30% and training data is 70%. Okay. Random state equal to 0. You can take. If you want, you can put here 1, 2, 3 like that. You can give number. Randomly it will take. 0 means so 20% data is for testing and remaining data for training. Okay. Now training the multiple linear regression model. Training set. Yeah, you see here a regressor I'm taking by using linear regression. Okay. What is happening here? You see. Yeah. I used the here we are fitting the model. what we are giving X train, Y train I given. Okay, X train, Y train. Training data is given. Training data is given to the model, and we are fitting that data using linear regression object, that is regressor. Okay, so X train given, Y train given. 80% of data, X variable data as well as Y variable data given for training. What about remaining? That 20% is for testing the data. Okay. Yeah, you see here linear regression copy. Yeah, this is the statement we get. So how we can predict the test results? You see here. Okay. Y underscore predict, regressor dot predict. Okay. X underscore test. Okay. Yeah. Like this, we can concatenate these two. So already predicted data is available under Y underscore predict. So we are combining these two. Okay. So this is Y underscore predict. This is testing data. This is predicted data. Okay. You see. So our model is ready. Okay. We can predict the data. Now I'm taking one more course area. Okay. What I'm doing is here you can predict the data, right? So this is predicted results actually. Okay. So we are concatenating these two, Y underscore predict reshape and Y underscore test data. We concatenated these two. Okay. So now I'm checking the data. So how I'm checking means we are printing regressor. Regressor is there, right? So regressor got predict. Okay. Among this, I need to predict what I have to predict is 1, comma 0, comma 0. So 1 means New York, right? New York or California, I don't know exactly. Yeah. So this is categorical data values actually. So after that, I have to give marketing spends, remaining spends are there, right? 15,000, like 60,000 you can give. Okay. Comma. Second spend is 1,30,000. Okay. And 3 lakhs I am giving. Spend. This is marketing spend. If you spend like this, what happens? Okay. Just to see. There. Yeah. So this is the input I given to predict the results actually. Okay. So 100 means New York or wait a minute, I'll check whether it is New York or first is New York, right? So New York means so California. One means California, right? Okay. So what is the meaning of this data is 100 means this is California state. Okay. Marketing spends how many? This first column is what is that? First column. First column is what is that column? Wait a minute. First column. Yeah, this is R&D spend. I given 1,60,000, and administration spend 1,30,000 I given. Marketing spend 3 lakhs I given. So if I give this input, what is the profit I am expecting actually? 1,81,566, right? So in this way, it can predict the result. Okay. If you change this one, what happens? You see. Okay. Yeah. 1,40,000. Okay. Here also marketing spends I'm giving 2,30,000. That I'm giving. Okay, last is same. Just execute it here. Yeah. For this input, we are getting profit like 1,69,386. Okay, are you getting? So this is linear regression which comes under supervised learning. Okay, so in this fashion we can predict the results. Okay, okay. So this is about one example for supervised learning regression. Okay, so we can also have classification. Okay, classification example is also there. I'm opening that notebook also. I created interactive Python notebooks earlier. Okay. Wait a minute. Yeah. So for classification, I'm taking decision tree classifier. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Now, now you see again same things are there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we are importing some libraries, NumPy, Matplotlib, and Pandas. Okay. Earlier, as we earlier imported, right? So in this way, you can import those packages. Okay. And here I'm taking social network ads. Okay. Are you getting previous example? What we did is, so we taken 50 startups companies. Okay. So R&D spend, administration spend, marketing spend, state, as well as profit is there. This is a trained data is given. So among this data, 20% is used for testing purpose, 80% data given for training purpose. Okay. After training, I given inputs like if I give state is New York, R&D spend is somewhat, administrative spend is somewhat, and marketing spend I given. These four parameters I given. What the model expected, it is expecting profit. Okay, if you spend this much of amount, then you will get this much of profit. It is uh, showing, right? Just now we see in that one. Okay, that is clear, right? So now we taken another data set, that is social network ads. Okay, so first of all, I'm importing that social network ads data set. After that, we will open that data set, what it contains, we'll see. Okay, yeah, here it will remain the upload file will be deleted when this runtime is reset, because this is runtime environment. Once we close the um, environment, automatically data sets available for runtime also removed. That is what it is showing. Okay, so I'm opening this social network ads CSV file here. What it contains, actually only 10 records are there. Okay, user ID, gender, age, estimated salary, and purchased. So here purchased, 0 means not purchased, 1 means purchased. Okay, so like this we are taking the data set. Okay, here our target is we need to estimate. So by following this age of group social media data, this kind of data, age is there, this kind of estimated salary is there, whether you will buy the product or not. So like social media ads means, by seeing the ad whether he is going to buy or not, we need to predict actually. This is the data actually. Simple data I taken, only 10 lines is there. Okay. Yeah. So our task is whether we will purchase or not. Okay. Yeah. You see here, I executing social network sites CSV file. I taken here. You see only second and third column we taken. Second and third column means I'm opening it. I'm opening that no, sorry, that data set. Yeah, this is the data set actually. Oh, it contains so many records. Okay, fine. Okay, this contains huge records. Almost 401 records are there. Okay, not a problem. Okay. Yeah. So, so for this kind of user ID is not useful, gender is not useful for our model to predict, and your useful columns are age as well as estimated salary. Okay, age as well as estimated salary. Okay, that is why I taken 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that is why I taken 2, 3. These two are inputs for our model. Okay, age as well as estimated salary I taken. So that is why I'm showing here. So here we taken 2 comma 3 means second column, third column I'm taking. I taken all values I stored in X, and y means data set dot I location last, yeah, -1 means last column. What is that last column? Purchased. This is y. Y data, y variable is storing only purchase last column. -1 means last negative index. Okay, that is last column. Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. So after getting the data, if you want to see data, you can see here X is there. X data. If you want to see X, yeah. Just to see here. Wait a minute. Capital X. This is actually not small x. Okay. Yeah. To see the data. So second column, that is third column and fourth column actually, as per index, that is second and third, age as well as estimated salary. Okay. And y also you can take if you want. See here y data also you can see. Y contains only purchased column is there, right? Yes, this is the y column data. Y column data. Okay. Are you getting? Yeah, this is y column data. Fine. So y contains only purchased or not, right? 0, 0, 0 means not purchased. 1 means purchased. Okay. Yeah. True or false kind of things. Again, same here. What we are doing here is splitting the data set into the training set as well as testing set. Okay. Same splitting purpose. I'm importing train underscore test underscore split from sklearn. Okay. And 4 variables I taken: x train, x test, y train, y test is also there. And by using train underscore test underscore split function, I given data x comma y. Here for testing purpose, I given 0.25. That is 25% of data for testing, remaining 75% for training. Okay, training purpose I give random state equal to 0. Okay, if you want, you can change that number 1 or 2, whatever, not a problem. Randomly it will take. Okay, yeah. So now we are fitting the model, right? Standard scalar is there. By using that standard scalar, of course, this is pre-processing. Wait a minute. First of all, I need to execute that one. Yeah. Okay. So by using standard scalar, we are fitting the model sc.fit transform. I given train data. Okay. We are sc.transform. So for transformation purpose, I am giving x underscore test data. I am giving. Okay. This is x train. Result will be stored in x train and x test. Okay. Yeah. Just executing. Decision classifier by using decision tree classifier. I am giving criterion equal entropy. We are taking random state equal 0. Classifier dot fit. Same x train, y train data. We are fitting the model. Okay. And here we are predicting the result. So by using test data, here we are predicting data. Wait a minute. Yeah. So I am predicting the data. Classifier dot predict. Okay. If you see here, y underscore pred is there, right? Okay. Just to see here what happens. Yeah. You see, this is the predicted result. Okay, like that earlier we seen, right? If you want test like that also, you can test. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Okay. Here I am giving some x data. I am giving x equals otherwise x1 equal to, okay, x1 equal to classifier dot predict. Same predicting. I am predicting by giving some other input. Predict. Okay. Predict of, here I am giving age. Age is some 55, comma, salary is 5,000. Okay. So just see here what happens. Yeah. If you want to see the data, x1, if it comes 0, not purchasing. If it is 1, then is purchasing. Just see here. based on our input, it is predicting. Just see here, yeah, array of 1 is there. 1 means is purchasing this kind of age and this kind of salary, estimated salary, then is purchasing. Okay, like that we can predict the data. Okay, confusion matrix also there, so we can construct a confusion matrix: true false, true negative, true false, for true negative, true positive, false negative, false positive. In this manner we can construct a confusion matrix by using y underscore test, y underscore predict. By using these two we can construct a confusion matrix. Okay, here we need to import confusion underscore matrix library. From that we need to give parameterize y underscore test, y underscore predict. Okay, this is confusion matrix actually. Okay, of course here you see, if you want see the graphical representation, then matplotlib is also there. By using that we can import matplotlib different graphs. Okay, so estimated salary, age. Okay, 0 means purchasing, 1 means, sorry, 0 means not purchasing, 1 means purchasing. So this is the graph. Based on that data we are producing graph. So here, if by analyzing this graph, age is less, then there are somewhat less priority is there to purchase the item. Or if age is more, and based on that salary, automatically they are purchasing the product. Okay, this is one of the analysis for supervised learning. Okay, clear? Yeah. So we seen two examples for supervised learning, that is regression as well as classification. For classification I used a decision tree classifier, and for regression I used the multilinear regression model. Okay, that I used earlier. Okay, so linear regression, multilinear regression means earlier we take an inputs more than one input we given, so that is why we can call it as a multilinear regression. If you give only one input, then that is a linear regression. Okay, yeah, fine. And we have unsupervised learning. Okay, unsupervised learning algorithms or clustering is also there, right? We have notebook. We'll see once again. 1 minute. I am uploading the data. Okay. Okay. It is uploading. Wait a minute. Yes. Oh, wait a minute. This is not okay. Wait a minute. Once again, I'm opening that notebook. Choose file. Yeah, K means clustering. I have to use. Sorry. We have different clustering algorithms, right? Among that, K-means is also there. Okay, so just see here, same thing. We need to import data sets. Okay, yeah. So NumPy, Matplotlib, Pandas, I imported. Okay, and the mall customers I'm taking. I can upload that data set here. Yeah, data sets. Yeah, mall customers. Okay, yes. So from this I'm taking third or fourth column. Okay, so just see here. First of all, we analyze what is happening here actually. What is the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning actually? Okay, so mall customers, I'll open that CSV file. You see here, All customers is age, annual income. Okay, wait a minute. Spending, annual income, spending crore. Okay. So here there is no output variable actually. Okay, there is no y data. Here we are taking only x data. Okay. So mall customers contains what it contains. How many columns are there here? Customer ID is there. Gender is there, age is there, annual income, spending score is there. Okay. So earlier what we did, we take an x data, y data, right? So here we are taking only x data. You see here. So among that x data, we take in third or fourth column. What is that third or fourth? Once again, I'm opening annual income, spending. Wait a minute. Spending score. Annual income I'm taking as input and the spending score we are taking. Okay. So from this data, we need to get the output. Okay. There is no labeled data here. Okay. Are you getting? So this is unlabeled data. We need to predict from this. Okay. Okay. Right. So that is why I'm taking 3, 4 dot values. Okay. So from sklearn dot cluster, we are importing k-means cluster. This comes under, this is one of the algorithm for clustering actually. So we are importing that k-means library. Okay. WCSS one array variable I'm taking, one list actually, list I'm taking. So from this, for I in range 1, 11. Okay. So here number of clusters 1, 11 means we are taking 10 actually. Random state equal to 42 I given. If you want, you can take 0 or 1 or 2 random. That is your wish. Okay. So initialization is k-means plus I given. You can use k-means also, not a problem. So number of clusters I. Okay. So here you see 1, 11 means 10 times this loop will iterate, and with k-means dot we are calculating means, and then we are fitting that data, x data, into the model. Okay. After that, we are appending the WCSS dot append whatever the k-means stored there. Okay. So we are appending that data into a WCSS list. Okay. Now you see, after completion of all these things, we are plotting the by using matplotlib object plt dot plot. We are plotting one graph. Okay, which shows range 1, 11, and the name is WCSS. Whatever the content is there, WCSS is there, right? So that is list variable. That content will come here. Okay. So your title is the elbow method. We have knee elbow method. So among that we are using elbow method. So number of clusters, X label is number of cluster, Y label is WCSS. This is okay. Okay. So here number of clusters, 10 is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 10. Okay. Among this, for every 2, we are taking, of course, this is 5. Okay. Number of clusters, 2 comes under one cluster, remaining 2 another cluster, remaining 2 another cluster. Like that, we have 5 clusters. Okay. This is the graph we can plot actually. Wait a minute. So k-means equal to k-means number of clusters 5. You need same k-means plus. If you want, you can use only k-means. Random state equal to 42. We are fitting the model actually. K-means dot fit predict of x. We are predicting based on x value only. Okay. So whatever the output it is coming, we are putting in y underscore means. Okay. So after getting the data into a y underscore means, okay, just to see here, we are creating clusters. Okay, just I'm executing. Wait a minute. What is that? Y k-means is not defined. Y k-means. Okay, wait a minute. Just executed. PLT dot scatter. I'm using scatter plot. Okay. So y underscore means whatever the mean value is calculated here. We are using 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, like that. 5 clusters are there, right? So we divided Okay, so first cluster color is red, blue, green, can, and magenta. So these are different colors I used for clusters. This is cluster 1, label I given cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3, cluster 4, and cluster 5. Okay, I given cluster 1 color is red, cluster 2 color is blue, and cluster 3 color is green, and cluster 4 color is can, and cluster 5 color is magenta. Okay, just after plotting the graph, if you want represent through screen means we have to use plg.show method. By using that method, automatically that can show. Okay, this is the annual income. Okay, annual income, number of clusters. So what we are doing here is from that data set mall customers. Okay, so we are grouping the similar kind of things into a group. So based on that data, this comes under one cluster, cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3, cluster 4, cluster 5. So many records are there in that data set. Based on that data set, automatically we are identifying the clusters. Okay, so we are grouping the members, similar kind of members we are grouping based on that data. Okay, right. Okay, this is about actually by using supervised learning, we have labeled the data, but in unsupervised learning, there is no labeled data, even though we are predicting the results. Okay, in the form of clusters or k-means. By using k-means algorithm, we predicted, right? So nothing is there, output variable is not there. Based on x variable only, we constructed, we predicted results. Okay, this is unsupervised learning. Okay, so and we have another notebooks also there. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, I have. Wait a minute, please. Yeah. So we covered unsupervised k-means clustering. Okay, association is also there, but that will take much time. So I'm not discussing association. I discussed only clustering. Okay. So here what I'm trying to say is by using, this is first example, right? Okay. What we did, this is social network ads actually. Okay. This is second example, sorry. And the first example, startups. Yeah, this is startups, R&D spend, administrative spend, marketing spend, and state. Okay, and the profit. Okay, so in first two examples, those two are comes under supervised learning. We taken these four columns in X data, and last column is in Y data. Okay, Y variable. Okay, so based on X, we predicted Y. Okay, so actually this contains 50 startup companies information. After training the model, if I give some inputs like R&D spend, administrative spend, marketing spend, state, automatically it predicts the profit because this is labeled. Okay, so labeled data I given, so that is why it is predicting the profit. Okay, when comes to unsupervised learning, here we don't have any output variable, right? Okay, so wait a minute, I'm opening that notebooks. Okay, mall customers, right? Wait a minute, mall customers. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, this is mall customers, right? So your customer, gender, age, annual income, spending score is there. Okay, so there is no output variable Y. So we taken these are not useful for our model. So that is why I did not taken any columns. This is first, second, third columns. I taken only fourth and fifth columns. Okay, fourth and fifth columns I taken. Okay, so by taking these two based on, okay, based on these spending scores and annual income. Okay. Otherwise, I taken, I think, three or four. I don't know exactly. Yeah, three or four means fourth column as well as fifth column. Based on these two data columns, we predicted the results. So what we did, based on this data, we grouped the similar kind of things are there, right? So we group it together. So that is comes under one cluster. Like that, we um, shown different clusters on the in the form of graphs. Are you getting? So this is about this is the difference between supervised learning as well as unsupervised learning. Actually, okay. If you take second example, I already discussed second example, right? What it contains: social networks ads. Actually, okay, social network ads. Yeah, this is social network ads. User ID is not useful. That is why I did not taken, and gender is also not taken. I taken only age as well as estimated salary. Okay, so in supervised learning, we taken these two columns. Okay, I taken these two columns. Okay, I taken these two columns only, and based on these two columns I predicted the y variable, that is purchased column. I predicted, okay, I given age as well as salary, estimate salary. Based on that, whether you will purchase or not, I predicted, right? So just a simple thing: supervised learning having labeled data, and unsupervised learning, it does not have any labeled data. We need to predict. Without label, we need to predict. That is the different task actually. Okay. So this is this example is come this example already we've seen. This comes under supervised learning classification. Okay. Yeah. So main difference here, main difference between supervised as well as unsupervised learning is already we discussed main difference, also advantages or disadvantages. Still, we'll discuss some main differences. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you can ask me another problem. Okay. Yeah, you can type in chat box. So main differences or actually the main distinction between the two approaches to label the data set. To put it simply, supervised learning uses labeled input and output data, while an unsupervised learning algorithm does not. Means there is no labeled data, no output data. Okay, there is no output data, no labeled data. So that is one of the major difference actually. In supervised learning, the algorithm learns from the training. Uh, uh, in supervised learning, the algorithm learns from the training data set by iteratively making predictions on the data and adjusting for the correct answer, while supervised learning models tend to be more accurate than unsupervised learning models. So they require upfront human intervention to label the data appropriately. So, for example, a supervised learning model can predict how long you communicate will be based on the time of day, weather conditions, and so on. Okay. They first you will have to train it to know the rainy weather extends the driving time. Okay. Whereas if you take unsupervised learning models, in contrast, that is contrast to the supervised learning, work on their own to discover the in, inherent structure of unlabeled data. And here we need to note that they still require some human interventions for validating output variables. So, for example, an unsupervised learning model can identify that online shoppers often purchase groups of products. At the same time, however, a data analysis would need to validate that it makes sense for a recommendation engine to group, for example, baby clothes with an order of diapers, applause and sippy cups. Like that, we can predict. Okay, so major difference is between supervised and unsupervised is this contains labeled data and we have output, And in supervised learning, there is no label data, there is no output data. Okay, this is the main difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. So here, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. I can answer. Okay. Yeah, madam, are you there? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, madam. Any doubts they have, please ask me in chat box so that I can answer.
Yes, anyone have any query, please post it in the chat box or you can unmute yourself. Is any queries, please? Yes, we'll share the attendance link. Sir. But before that, if any queries, sir is with us.
Madam, can I stop presenting?
Yes, sir. You can
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
it.
Any doubts? They may ask. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, participants, any queries? Of course, attendance link has been posted. You can post the attendance. But before that, if any queries, okay, sir. Thank you, Krishna sir, for giving us very good examples in supervised and unsupervised learning in a Jupyter notebook. Thank you for your explanation and giving a brief note on all the algorithms, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thanks a lot. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request all the participants to post the attendance. Link has been shared in the chat box as well as in